always, Dave with Blue Line Battle Sports, and today I just wanted to go over getting set up and started in Airsoft. I mean, we got a new year, so new gear, right? But let's think about the people that are just starting out. They don't really know where to go. They've played their first few games. Really, what I put together is just a list from Amazon that should get you started for under $250. So that's actually not expensive for a lot of hobbies out there today. If you think about, if you want to start gaming, even on console, you're in $500 for the system. A computer, it's infinitely more for one that's decent. So, cars are another expensive hobby. There's a lot of expensive hobbies out there. Airsoft doesn't have to be when you start. And the best thing about this, as opposed to, say, paintball, is that where paintball, you can start with your marker, and everyone's like, well, it grows with you. But it doesn't. There's a cutoff for a paintball marker, but there's really no cutoff for an Airsoft replica because there's so many things you can do, especially starting out with a version 2 gearbox. First thing I want to look at is iPro. Now, I happen to go on Amazon. I do a lot of Airsoft shopping on Amazon and Temu, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of good stuff on there. Amazon's just a little bit safer in the realm of goggles because they'll actually put on the ANSI-rated Z87-1 to let you know that this is an appropriate goggle for Airsoft. And for the new players out there that are watching this, you hear it, everybody says ANSI-rated. Well, it's ANSI Z87.1 is the minimum safety rating you need for your goggles. And if it doesn't have that, then don't even bother with it. So one of the things that I found was a set of goggles for $40 on Amazon. Okay, that's not a lot of money when you think about it. Does come with an extra lens. They're thermal lenses, which are important for no fogging. And the best part is that they're full sealed. Okay, so we don't have to worry about shooting glasses. And honestly, you shouldn't be using shooting glasses just for safety because they can get around the cracks in the lenses and so on and so forth. This actually took a couple of hits. Last game, it looks like, oh no, that's just sweat. So here's my thermal goggles. As you can see, I went and removed the foam on them so that there's airflow. BBs aren't getting through that. It's not really getting through the lens holes, or the vent holes on there. It's on the top. Chances of you be on the top of the head like this and going in your eye are like slim to nothing. Anyway, but the BBs don't fit. They're thermal. They breathe well. I use this in the game. I had no problems fogging. It's a simple $40. So we're $40 in. The reason I hit that first before the replica is simply your eye protection is the most important thing that you could possibly buy. If you're not comfortable with that, like there's paintball masks out there too that are guaranteed there's no way that a BB is going to get through that. Plus they offer lower face protection, and that's something else. This is a simple neck gaiter that has this little mesh piece in here, and it has already saved me from getting shot in the mouth multiple times. There has been a time where I didn't wear these, and this tooth up here is not real because it was shot out of my head playing Airsoft. So I highly recommend lower face protection. Even if you don't have to, I strongly recommend it. These are nice because they'll fit right under your nose, and so you can still breathe. It's not really going to inhibit breathing on the field, and it's not going to direct fog and mist and hot breath up into your mask or goggles. So that's the cheap option. That was $10. So we're $50 in for full face and eye protection. That's not bad. So let's move on to the replica because, that's what everyone wants, right? So starting out, Lancer Tactical Gen 2 M4. The Gen 2s are not the higher end. They're not like the Supreme Airsoft gun. But here's the thing. This is $150. I'm about to show you what comes in the box. And it's everything you need to get started with the exception of your iPro. For $150, you're now $200 in. And the thing is this, it is a Gen 2 gearbox, which means that it can grow with you. And that is the most important part of that. When you select your first Airsoft gun, if you're not going to go all in and go something high end, start here. $150, you can't go wrong. Lancer also does have Gen 4s, which are starting around the $350 mark and are already upgraded. So if you have the money, that's great. Some people don't. We got a lot of younger players that are just starting out. Their parents aren't sure, or they're not even comfortable with buying them a toy replica of a firearm. So what they do is they start looking at the cheap side just in case little Johnny doesn't want to get into it too much. But let's just take a look at what comes in this box. I haven't even opened this thing yet. So we are going to take a look as soon as I can figure out cardboard. You got to be smarter than the box. All right, there we go. All right, okay. So let's take a look at what we got. So starting out, we already got this thing all packed up in plastic. You can see you've got a manual up here. We've got an unjamming rod. Those are important, especially if you've never played before. All right, so let's take this big old bag out here. We'll just start with the replica. All right, so here we go. Gen 2 replica. This is the regular polymer that most airsoft guns are already made out of. All right, I've chosen M4. A lot of people choose M4s. They are kind of the go-to. You got one rear flip-up sight. That's nice. It works. Doesn't lock in place, but I mean, this is stiff enough spring. It shouldn't, running through bushes shouldn't go down. Yes, for those of you that have never used this, they can be adjusted just like a real M4, and you can actually sight these in. So it's got an adjustable stock. You just pull it off to access your battery compartment, and it's wired to Tamiya, not Dean's. Again, for 150 bucks. I guess it's what we call a low-end replica, but it's not a bad replica. That's just to show you how responsive this is, and it's surprisingly responsive. And again, this is a 9.6 volt nunchuck battery. We don't use these anymore. This is way out of date. So I'm amazingly surprised at the snappiness on this. Honestly, for a bone stock Gen 2 with an outdated battery, like, I'm pleasantly surprised and very impressed. So again, it's affordable, okay? And that is the point of this whole video, right? All right. Let's get back on there. All right. Moving up here, you've got, this doesn't lock to the rear, but you've got a rotary hop up in there, which is great. It's a lot better than trying to deal with those small little wheels that we used to have to deal with. You've got rail covers up here, but you've got a lot of rail space. You've got, you know, your 12, 3, 6, and 9 for your rails. So you can put any attachments you want on here. You've also got a rail for any kind of optic that you want to put on there, which is great. It's really good. It's just starting out. I can't think of something better. Oh, it's a short trigger pull. You also get handy dandy little patch, so you got something to go on your uniform right away. All right. Now, that's the replica out of the way, but what else? People are going to ask, what else does this come with? Well, first of all, you're going to get a high cap magazine with it. I know people feel some kind of way about high caps, but just starting out, you got 300 rounds right here, okay? You're also going to get your battery. I recommend in the future picking up a LiPo battery or lithium polymer battery. A 7.4 for this particular replica. It doesn't have what it needs to run an 11.1. You'll damage the internals. It's not a question of if, it's just when. So it could last for a while. You could wreck your internals on day one if you put in an overpowered battery. So this comes with a decent starter battery. It also comes, there it is, with a charger. All right, so you're set. You've got your battery, you got your magazine, you got your charger, and it's not a lot of babies, but you got 1,000 just to start with. So out of the box for $150, you're getting your replica, your magazine, your batteries, oh, and a foregrip, if that's what you want on your replica. You're getting everything for 150 bucks, less your protective gear for your face and eyes. We've already covered that, so we're at $50 for that. 150, 155, depending on where you get this for this. So let's just call it 155. Let's go high end. So you're up to 205. All right, so you're up to 205, and then, so what else do you need, really? Honestly, that's it. You're at $205, but I think you do a little bit better with some more ammo. Personally, that's me. I'm going on Amazon, I found these. These are flash mags. Lancer also produces these. They're another high cap mag. And instead of messing with the winding wheel, simply pull that string, and it's going to load your mag for you. It's a lot faster. It's just efficient. It'll get the BBs to your gun. It's another 300 rounds, so you're up to 6. And to carry that, you don't need a chest rig or body armor or any of this craziness. You could pick one of these up on Temu or Amazon for anywhere between $10 and $20. So the magazine's another $20. So we're up to $230. Out the door, on the field, playing. Now for these, you're like, well, where do I mount this? Put this on a belt. Just put it right on your side. Before the police became super tactical, if we needed M4s and we had to carry extra rounds, that's what we do. That and slick body armor, regular body armor. This is back in the day. I'm old, and I've been in law enforcement for a really long time, or had been in law enforcement until I retired for a very long time. So all the stuff you see now, or the police and ICE and HSI and all these other groups are wearing full tactical body armor. That's not how we did it back in the day. It was a bulletproof vest, our sidearm, a windbreaker if we had them. If we're carrying an M4, an extra an extra mag on our waist. That's it. So it's a real low-vis way to look at things. You can play in civilian clothes when you go out to play. Wear something dark, long sleeves, long pants. Don't do something stupid like I do with shorts and a t-shirt in the summer. But it's a lightweight, easy to play with loadout that gets you started right out of the box. And one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to continue this as a series. I want to show you how this can upgrade. When I say grow with you, I have a version 2 gearbox. They have quick change springs. They don't have a MOSFET, but we can add that if we wanted to use a better battery. We can add HPA to this because it is a Gen 2 gearbox. That's exactly what I plan on doing with this. And that's another thing for guys that are advanced and they want to build a sleeper replica for milsim, or they just want a simplistic looking replica for their milsim games, and they don't want to tear apart like something higher end to put the HPA systems in and new barrels and hop-ups. This is a great start because, again, it's $155. You have enough to play around with it and get comfortable with the weight and feel of it before you start tearing it apart and making it into something custom. Again, which I totally intend to do with this. This is not going to stay this way because I am an advanced player. But what I want to do for my next video is I am actually going to take this out and play with this at the next game. Bone stock as it is, this whole loadout that I just tried to sell you guys on, I'm going to take this out and play with this. I'll either take this to Evolution Airsoft up in Laurel Hill, Florida, which is not far from my house, and it's where I play a lot at, or I'll take it to Airsoft at Panhandle Paintball in Milton, which is another favorite field and is run by Leviathan Tactical in Pensacola. And I will get some video of this, bone stock, me using it. I'm not going to modify anything. I'm going to keep the iron sights. All I'm going to add to this is a camera so you guys can see the accuracy on it. I'm not even going to change the orange tip. I'm going to play straight noob with this. I'm going to let you know what I think. I'm going to show you how it goes. So stay tuned for that. And then after that, we're going to go into the upgrading this, upgrading gear, and how everything's going to work. And I'm going to tell you now, the head protection that I just recommended for $50 between the upper and lower, that's actually what I use now. There's no change in that. Like, that doesn't have to change. I use that. For indoor, I will use a dye paintball mask. We're talking about a $200 mask. But for outdoor play, I wear that lower face protection with the mesh in it and those goggles. Like I said, I'm going to use that. And so I'm just going to use this mag pouch on a belt, that as a backup mag, and this. I'm going to use these in full games. I'm going to get several games of this. And this is going to be my loadout. And I'll probably even do jeans and maybe just a combat shirt. Just so you guys understand that this can be played in civilian clothes comfortably. And then from there, we're going to go into the upgrades on this. I have a lot planned for this. You guys are going to see it's going to be really freaking awesome when I'm done. So till then, this is Dave with Blue Line Battle Sports. And I hope to see you guys out in the field.